Hi there. So today we're going to mount some ATK bindings to some skis. I will start with a bit of a disclaimer. If you buy some skis and some bindings at the same time, it's probably better just to pay a shop to do it. But if for whatever reason you've got skis and you've got bindings and you want to fit them, and they're ATK bindings, then maybe this is the tutorial for you. So let's start with what you actually need to make some bindings attached to some skis. So I have a template, I have a drill bit. For these skis I need 4.1 millimeters. This is a winter steger drill bit, which I will link to in the description. I also have a hole tapper as well, which is compatible with the size of the hole which we will drill. This is important because the skis have a metal plate, and if you can tap a thread through that metal, that actually results in a much better connection to the ski. So I would definitely recommend getting specific skiing drill bits and also a hole tap as well. ATK are actually really nice, and they give us like a good guide about how to drill and mount bindings, which is actually really nice compared to some of the other manufacturers out there. I also have a hole punch, which is useful for the specific points where I want to drill. So I can use the templates to get into the right area, and then I use the hole punch to mark a spot to drill. So when it comes to drilling skis, it's very easy to drill slightly off if you're using a hand drill. There are specific things you can get on the drill bits to push you to be vertical. Shops tend to use a jig, which also has this kind of metal collar that forces a vertical drill. So I'd recommend using one of those. I'll link to them in the description. If you're drilling with a hand drill, this time, to be as accurate as possible, I've decided to try using a shop drill. So what I mean by that is I have this Bosch bad boy lent from a friend, so I'm going to try that to see if I can get really good accurate drill points. So hopefully this binding mount could be my creme de la creme of binding mounts, and I could be really happy with it, because previous binding mounts I've done, I've been not 100% happy with the quality of the work, but at the same time, when I've had bindings mounted by sports shops, often it's the same story. You're not 100% happy with the work that they do. So yeah, it's a quest to perfection. Okay, so to begin with, we need to mark various lines on the skis. The center line and the pin axis transverse line is the first step. Now I've got black skis here, and I've also got a black marker pen, so it's maybe not the best for showing this on the film, but essentially what you do is, on these skis we have a V here and a V here, a V here and a V here. We can actually use these to create two transverse lines, which we can then link the middle part of those lines to create a center line on the ski. These skis also have a V, so the V point of the mounting area ingeniously is the center line. But if you don't have skis which have these markings on them, you have to find the center line yourself. Also, I'm using a permanent marker here, so I will see these marking points for the life of the mounting of the ski. It's maybe better to find some sort of pen which you can wash off, which is also visible. So what you want to do is you want to find the point on the skis and create a line across, just like so. And let's put another line here, like so. And then what you would do is, using a straight edge, you can link, either in this example, I can link the V's together to create this center line. Or what you do without the points is you need to actually measure the midpoint of the ski on those lines. So let's say you have midpoint there, and then let's say another halfway across would be there, and then you know the midpoint, and then you can join the two midpoints together to create this this center line, like so. The next step is finding out the pin line. So this is where your boots are going to be mounted on the skis. This is very important because it's going to control how the skis ride. Now, certain companies like Faction and stuff give you various recommendations whether you want to mount the boots slightly forward or slightly back under certain circumstances. In this situation with these autonomous skis, I'm just going to essentially do it as the factory recommendation. So on the boots there's a midpoint mark, which you probably can't see because it's very difficult to see on these boots. This needs to be lined up with the midpoint on the skis. So what I've done here is there's the midpoint marked on the skis, then just draw a line across there to create this midpoint line. And then the next step is lining up the boots with the midpoint line. And then after this, you need to then mark the points of the pin inserts on the boots to the skis. Here we are here, and here we are here. And then connect those two individual points together. Okay. So now we have a center line and a pin line. At which point we can take this template, which I've cut out, and line up the pin line and line up the center line. Okay, so now I've connected the template to the skis, and I'm being very particular about making sure that it's mounted in the right place where the pins are going to go, and in the right place with the longitudinal line, because it's very important to have the boots completely straight when mounted, which is a mistake I've made previously. Now here we have some nice shiny new bindings from ATK. Now a good way to check that you printed out your template correct is to place the toe piece on the skis and make sure that the holes line up perfectly. There's also a scale on the templates that you should check, because various printers can often do strange things with borders and scaling of images based on your printing settings. So it's very important to check that the template is printed out to the correct scale. So everything's looking pretty good here. Yes, looking pretty good. So next step is to use a hole punch to mark the points of where we're going to drill. Here's a hole punch. To punch holes you also need a hammer. So let's line these up in the right spot. looking good. So next step is to remove the template and drill some skis. Okay, so here we have the ski mounted onto the drill, and we've lined it up with the hole punch marks, making sure that it's absolutely perfect with the punch marks that we made previously. And then it's just basically time to start drilling. And then just double check that you've got the right drill bit for the ski. Yes, 4.1mm by 9 is the recommendation. So yeah, let's turn it on. Okay, one part I missed was that it's always a good idea when you've got these metal mounting plates to tap the holes. So for the hole tap, just put it in, turn around, and take it back out again. This allows the screws to bite much better in these holes that we've drilled. Okay, so some manufacturers recommend using wood glue. I use epoxy. I'm not sure the benefits of either, but I think epoxy is a little bit harder, more sticky. So yeah, you need some base, which in this case is blue. We don't need that much. Okay. And then we need to find something to take out the hardener. I need to just make sure that it's 50-50 between base and hardener. There we go, looks okay, maybe slightly more hardener. Trying to make too much of a mess. It should be a grey colour. Okay, I'm using some baby wipes to clean off the excess epoxy, just to make the job look nicer and not have big epoxy stains on your top sheet. There we go. Now keep them relatively loose initially, just to get all the screws seated. Now because we tapped these holes, they are going in like a dream. If you haven't tapped, then you might find that you have to force them in a little bit more. Now before fully tightening, test with the boots, see if they line up with the centre line. In this case, yes they do. So you can see this, I still have a little bit of play here, so I can just check that it fits with the centre line perfectly, which it does now. And now you can snug down these fronts. Now I'm using a PZ2 screwdriver. The recommended, I think, is PZ27. Just confirm with the instructions here. PZ3 rather than PZ2 is what I'm currently using. But yeah, PZ2's work okay. But I may actually switch to PZ3 for snugging them up to avoid damaging. Okay, double check again. Yes, that's great. Okay, let's disconnect. Yeah, it's nicer. There we go, let's double check again. Oh, look at that action. Yep, looking good. Okay, so next part is the heel piece. So let's start by taking our template and cutting it. So we've got the heel piece part, throw that away. Now let's take our boot, the binding. Now we want to actually draw the back line. So yeah, what we need to do here is mark the back point of the boot on the ski. And this is the point where we put this line from the template to line up properly. I mean, what I've also done before, instead of using templates, is you can essentially just take the heel piece, put it into the boot, get the correct spacing as with the spacer. And there we go. And then you can use the hole punch or a marker and then mark from there. But I think actually it's potentially more accurate to use the template, so let's go with that method. Okay, so what I've done now is I've attached the heel template to the ski. So I made a line where the back of the boot is, and I then attached the template here. And what I've also done to confirm that it's in the correct place is put the heel piece on, attach put the spacer so you get the correct distance between the heel piece and the the heel piece and the ski boot. And remember, this is very important because you need this spacer value to be correct, otherwise the bindings won't release properly. Sideways on may have other issues with compression if you land a big jump. So I'm just making sure when I'm looking through here that the points which I'm going to use the hole punch on are in the correct spots with regard to the holes on the heel piece. Looks good indeed. So I can now punch some holes. Okay, here we go again. Now this time we're drilling the holes for the heel piece. Okay, I have filled the holes with I've tapped the holes and then filled the holes with epoxy. Now we're going to put the screws in the heel piece. Remember to use the smaller screws for mounting the heel piece. There we go. Yeah, looking nice. All lined up. We placed the boot into the pins. It's lining up perfectly. So the alignment of the toe piece is great, and alignment of the heel piece is great. Okay, thanks very much. Bye for now.